Hi, this is Dave. Welcome to DOScember, or welcome back to DOScember if you've already seen my intro to this project. This video is the first part of what looks like it'll be two parts about a project for the month of December using DOS, and specifically it's more about using DOS with my Commodore Amiga 2000 and the XT Bridgeboard that I got with it in 1990. The first part will be about mostly about the Bridgeboard itself, and basically getting me back to being able to run it like I did in the early 90s, and then we'll get it running in this video, and I'll show you the struggles that I had to do that. Mostly just using only the software and hardware that was available back then. If there's something different than what I'm doing here than some other people doing Bridgeboard projects, it's that I've sort of tied my hand behind my back because I'm just getting back into retro computing, and I don't have a lot of other tools like SD cards or GoTech floppy drives and things like that. So it's not easy for me to get new software on the machine. So we'll go through that adventure, and I found a lot of interesting things along the way. If there's technical details in the chapters ahead that aren't interesting to you, please just skip ahead and you can go to the end. And what I'll summarize at the end is a set of like hits and misses, or things I enjoyed and didn't quite enjoy about the project so far. Oh, and I should have said before we get to the technical work, the goal of this is for me to get a software project, assembly language, paint or drawing program that I wrote in 1988 and have never run on the Bridgeboard, working on the Bridgeboard. So it's the oldest DOS program that I've ever written on the first DOS machine that I ever owned. And so that's where we're going with it, and we'll get there and run the program by the end. We'll continue next time in a video that's more focused on what it means to program on DOS. Here I'm at the my Amiga 2000. If you're interested in any of the more details about it, I have another video that I made earlier this year showing off the Fusion 40 card, the 6240 card, so check that out. It's the B2000 motherboard from 1988, and I bought the machine in 1990. So over here is where the Bridgeboard was. I mentioned in my intro to DOScember video that I took the card out, and I thought I took it out because I was trying to make more room for that ST296N Seagate hard drive down there, because the Bridgeboard had a 5¼ inch floppy drive. That's one plausible reason, but honestly my memory isn't so great about it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was another reason I took it out, like it was incompatible with the Fusion 40, or was incompatible with the ICD-AD SCSI or something. We're going to have to put it back in and relearn what was going on. So here's the A2088 XT Bridgeboard, and I didn't even, I can tell which slot it was in over here because I didn't even put the slot cover on back there. So let's put it back in where it used to be. Now, you probably noticed I did not connect any floppy drive or anything. There's a chance that I created a virtual partition for this on my Amiga hard drive. So I think I'm going to power it up with just the Bridgeboard card in there, no floppy drive connected to it. So if there isn't that partition all set up to boot on the Amiga drive, then it's not going to boot, and I'll have to take it out. And we'll have to either finagle one of these 3½ inches to it, or I'll go find the 3½ or the 5¼ inch drive and just run that external to the machine, because obviously there's no room for a 5¼ inch drive in here. So let's turn it around, plug it back in, and see what happens. All right, well, here goes nothing. Booted, but the monitor's not on. Oh, there we go. Just had flipped the switch on the DNL laser. let's see what it thinks it sees here. So in sysinfo, let's check the boards. All right, it's well, it's wrong. It says it's the x86 Bridgeboard when it's the 2088, but that's probably just a problem with sysinfo. Board size 512K. Maybe that makes sense. Let's make sure. Oh, it says the 68040 is running. So I did read online there are some problems with the Bridgeboard and the 68040 that you have to run a program called Enforcer. I don't know if I had that or if that was available at the time I had this. So let's see. Looks like I had the PC set start up here. Couldn't find the library. So it's possible that I installed or that I upgraded the Amiga operating system since the Bridgeboard was out. So I think what we're going to do is install the Janus library again. But first let's see if we can find the PC stuff. I'm back in sysinfo here. I didn't even think to use that, but of course, which libraries are loaded. No Janus library loaded. Alright, so that gives us a direction to go. I'm digging into this mystery a little more. What it seems is going on is that I've got some things that start up on the 68040 that don't work on the 68000. So if I look at my user startup, it looks like the last time I added this was 1993. There's a lot of stuff in here, and right here at the top, it says if exists PC/PC disk run bind drivers to install the Bridgeboard Janus library. So that's why I wasn't getting the Janus library. Then it runs the PC disk amouse and PC services time serve. So that explains why we weren't able to run the PC disk. So I'm going to put that back. Now I'm going to power down and switch to the 68000. Alright, all we did was reboot off the floppy. So online I just found an OCR version of Amiga Release 2 Getting Started in 1991 from Commodore, and it says there's a short section that says if your Bridgeboard is in an accelerated Amiga 60, 20, 30, or 40, you must do one of the following things before accessing the Bridgeboard under 2.0. Run the command CPU no data cache or run the command enforcer quiet, which says it allows higher system performance than CPU no data cache. And you have to do that before bind drivers. So I'm optimistic that we found the problem. So this is a 30-year-old problem, right? So I'm going to run enforcer quiet. It says error CPU too expensive. What does that mean? It's going correctly. Ugh, not good. Ugh, crashes every time.
So here we are running on the 68000 and 68040. Every time I run bind drivers on with the 68040 up, it just gets a Guru meditation error. So Run 68,000. I'm going to let's look at the way that I used to run the user startup. Right, so this is encouraging. I'm looking at the 2088 Bridgeboard manual, and it says probably the reason I couldn't auto boot is because I had not yet run the Amiga file server program, PC disk, so we'll put that stuff back in. Alright, let's try it. Holy shit, that looks good. Alright, press F1. Oh yeah, drive activity. Look at that. We're running DOS 3.3, booted from the hard drive. Amazing. Here's how far we've gotten. Here's our virtual PC drive that's on the Amiga drive. I've created a minidraw directory, and I copied minidraw that I have on the Amiga hard drive using the aread command, which copies through shared memory using the Janus library from the Amiga. minidraw.exe/b. The /b will keep it from trying to convert characters, like character return line feeds and stuff like that in the file. Alright, well, we've got the menu up here. These are the menu options in minidraw. Free drawing, box drawing, line drawing, clear the screen, load or save or quit. But I don't think I'm getting mouse support here. Oh, it says when started, A-mouse uses the right mouse joystick port for the PC mouse. I have the mouse in the left port, so let's move it over to the right port. Alright, well that's moving it around, but the mode looks wrong. Let's load the image. Seek error reading drive A. Alright, it seems to be hard-coded to read the image from drive A, so let's fail that. Doesn't seem to do anything though, and I think what's going on is I think we're stuck in a text mode here. So we're seeing the text, but this is a graphical area that I should be able to draw in. And what's happening is, because we're in a text mode, the mouse cursor is just a text rectangle block. So weird, right? Let's see, can we quit out? Oh, nice. Well, that's progress. We got the mouse working with A-mouse in text mode in the monochrome display on the Amiga. What I'm having trouble with is, well, first off, it just looks like crap in the XT Bridgeboard PC screen in an Amiga workbench, Amiga DOS workbench window. So, and what I'm having, the problem I'm having is when I start the color mode, which I need to be in to get the graphics mode that I want, the whole system just crashes. So instead of screwing around with that anymore, what I decided to do is I went to my first desktop PC I ever bought, and I pulled the video card from it. It's the EverX Viewpoint Standard. Obviously, it's a 16-bit ISA card. And I poked around online. I vaguely remembered that some 16-bit ISA cards, if you plug them into an 8-bit ISA XT slot, they'll still work. And it turns out that this is one that works that way. So what we're going to do is take this VGA card and give our Bridgeboard VGA graphics in a separate VGA port and put it in here in one of the XT Bridgeboard slots that's unused. So this is where we just put it. It's this one right here, and you can see that the 16-bit portion of the ISA connector isn't even in a slot. So let's see how that works. And now, so we're not going to be using the video emulation, so we want to turn both of those off and use the VGA card instead. It's use. This PC Prefs program keeps getting this error saying it failed, but I don't know what to do with that. So anyway, we'll just do that. We need to run PC window because we need the keyboard emulation and the mouse emulation. So I'm going to run PC mono, which is a link. This is the monochrome version of PC window. So we have an app running on the Amiga that will do the the keyboard and stuff and pass it. Okay, so we're in that monochrome display, and I'm going to move the mouse over to joystick port 2, so that the mouse driver will hopefully send what it's doing to the Bridgeboard. And now we're going to take the video cable, the VGA, from the Amiga and put it into the VGA card on the Bridgeboard. I have the minidraw program here, and also the saved picture. And minidraw has it hard. We discovered earlier it's hard coded to use drive A to find its saved pictures. So let's use an obscure DOS command substitute, and we'll substitute the virtual name drive A for this directory. C:\\minidraw. Now if I do a directory on A, instead of getting an error, it should show that directory, and it does. Alright, well, let's run minidraw and see what happens. Alright, there we are. I'm not seeing a mouse pointer, but I can see that I've got a mouse there. Let's quit out. Try it again. Oh, there's our mouse pointer. Alright, so maybe something is initialized correctly, but we're seeing the mouse pointer now. And let's ask it to load that saved image. Whoa, it worked. All right. So what this is when I wrote this program and submitted it as part of an assignment for a class, I had drawn this image with the fighter jet and probably that sun up there, maybe one of these I guess one of these squares or something, and the horizon here. Look, and the landing strip or whatever, and the rest of this, probably this targeting thing here, and the rest of this junk here is apparently what my professor drew on top of there and then saved it. So I haven't seen this in 32 years. Cool. Well, we got the program running, and in short order found a bug in it, which is I guess not to be unexpected, but it'll make a nice basis for the reason why we'll delve into some of the programming with IBM ROM BIOS and the Microsoft MS-DOS functions, and I'll show you how those work there, and hopefully we'll find the bug and fix it. So while I was doing this project, I made a list of what I thought were hits and misses that were kind of interesting things I came across. So probably for sure the most interesting thing I came across was that error message that said error CPU too expensive. It's got to be a joke, right? It's basically something detected that there was that 68040 in there and said, I'm not doing anything with this, or I haven't written the code. And it could have either been a joke for the developers themselves, thinking very few customers were going to see it, or it could have been directed at Commodore itself if they were preventing them from, the engineers from working on the 68040 stuff. I'll link a video in the description of an interview with Dave Haney where he explains how they had a 68040 working in the Amiga 2000 in 1990 before anyone knew it, and that pretty interesting. But at the time I saw that error, I wasn't appreciating the humor too much. So what did I like about this? Well,
I was a little down on the Bridgeboard because I knew I didn't use it for very long. I'd only used it for a number of months. I bought it in 1990, but I also bought the Fusion 40 in 19, and we've learned here that they don't play well together, at least using the software that was available in 1990 and 1991. So while I was down on it initially, I thought it'd be fun to revisit it. And what I'm discovering is that the Bridgeboard as a concept is pretty interesting, right? I mean, that the two machines can see each other, that they're both running separate operating systems, and they can talk through shared memory, and they have interrupt requests that can communicate between the two operating systems. That's neat. Also, one of the other videos I'll link, someone else doing a Bridgeboard project, they made a point that that's a virtual hard disk that we built in there, because it's a file in the Amiga file system, but it looks like an entire hard drive to the PC. So that's pretty cool, because this was 30 years ago. And another neat thing I found was I loved that I could put the 16-bit ISA VGA card in the XT slot that was just an 8-bit slot. So that was cool. And then lastly, I'm not a DOS fan at all. I don't know it very well either, though. And I loved that I found a DOS command that was new to me, that substitution command that allowed me to override what drive A meant and make the program work without having to change the code. That was pretty cool. Misses, man, this project has been hard to do. This is a lot of hours, a lot more hours than are represented in the video that I made. A lot of experiments I tried that just weren't worth including because they were crazy. So the Bridgeboard itself and the mouse driver, like the things about requiring you to change the mouse between the two ports, it's ridiculous, right? So while the Bridgeboard's impressive conceptually and in some of its engineering, in use, it's not fun at all. The workbench screens with the PC mono and the PC color, either monochrome or 4-color, it's just terrible. And it was terrible then. But remember, the Bridgeboard was about 5 years old when I got it in 1990. So that's one of the reasons why I was kind of hard on it, is it wasn't state of the art then, the XT Bridgeboard anyway. And then the other misses is Amiga Release 2. I've got all the Amiga Release 2 stuff, and I'm somewhat technically adept and couldn't figure out a lot of this stuff. I had to use a couple of resources online, and Amiga Release 2 is nicer than 1.3, but it messed up a lot of things. Amiga Release 2 was not up to operating system expectations even in 1991. So I'm just not impressed, and I can see in hindsight that maybe it's a little armchair quarterbacking, but they were on their way down because this was not a smooth release. And then lastly, another observation is another YouTuber mentioned that you're working close to the bare metal when you're working, programming under MS-DOS. That's true. And just using the BIOS functions and the MS-DOS functions, so basically the ones built into the machine in ROMs, and then the other ones that are added on by the version of operating system you use. But even though you're close to the bare metal, it still can elicit a lot of unpredictable behaviors. Like here, I wrote it on a slightly different version of an x86 machine, and what we see is that we run it on a different machine. There's a bug, so that I was sort of struck by that. If you have any ideas about this or want to encourage me for the other one, leave me a like or a comment. And I hope you're enjoying your DOScember projects, and I'll see you next time.